Okay, welcome to Hydroneer. So this is a new game. It's been out for about 30 days, maybe a little bit more, and it has a bit of a learning curve. So what I'd like to do is show you the most efficient way or the fastest way to play the game without having to learn the hard way. So if you take a look here, I have all the controls that you'll need. So if you're stuck in a full window, you can minimize it so you can do other things other than play the game by pressing Alt-Enter. You can do screenshots with your Windows button and plus printer button, which is your PRT, SC. And then if you move down, you'll also see that if you want to move, it's WADNS. If you want to drive, Q to get in, and then RDGD. And then if you want to move your pipes around, R, T, and Y. With the pipes, you have to experiment to kind of get the pipes to go the direction that you want. Now that we covered the controls, one thing I want to show you, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a red X, and then by it, you'll see this little microphone. That's the background music, and eventually you'll probably get tired of hearing that, so just click that off when you get to that point. The next thing I want to show you is in your settings. Eventually, you'll mine enough gold and gems where it starts to cause lag on your computer, especially if you don't have the newest version or the hottest new computer. So what you can do is go to the second line and go to graphics quality, and you can select anything from high all the way to low. I just go to low. This game is already very basic, so you don't really see a big difference in how it looks by setting it on low, okay? So with that being said, let's move on into the game and get started. Now this is the first place you'll show up is going to be the very small lot here. One thing I want to tell you, you have to think about the game and the end game goal, okay? A lot of you guys are wasting a tremendous amount of time trying to do every game feature on this little piece of land, okay? The reality is there are two stores in this game, one of which is right around here, so it's up the hill, and it has a limited number of things, but it doesn't have drills and all that. So what you're having to do is drive a truck all the way across the map to get to the main store. Look, build the very minimum of what you need to get started and to produce enough gold so you can go and buy the biggest piece of property, which just also happens to be next to the big store with everything, okay? It's easier to drive over there. The distances are smaller. So my suggestion would be to start with 2 ram drills and 2 harvesters. And once you get to that point, all you need is 6,600 gold coins, and you can buy that. Now, when you think about that, it may seem like a lot, but within 4, maybe 6 hours, you'll be producing far more than 6,600 coins, okay? Now, let's go through the basics real quick. Let me show you a few techniques that'll help you. First of all, a lot of you guys are taking the shovel, and what you're doing, so you pick it up with E, and you're running down there, and you're digging, and you're running back up the hill to scrub your materials. Don't do that. Get your shovel load, throw it on the bank, okay? And you can't dig on the bank, but you can drop dirt there. My suggestion is do 25 shovel loads. That way, you can stand right up here, and you can do a dig, drop it in, E, blank. Oh, I need to add some water. So we get water, drop, brush, brush. By keeping all your tools together like this and not running up and down the hill, you'll be able to do this much quicker. Look, the minute you make about 50 or 60 gold coins, okay, you run up the hill and you sell your materials, what you want to do is set up a pipe to get water automatically in the bucket. That eliminates one of these 3 processes. You have a shovel, a brush, and a bucket that needs water. Let's eliminate the water problem as quickly as possible. I've already purchased the items, so you can just see how that would work. Let's just stick it in the water, and to do the turning of the pipes is R, T, and Y. And for this particular pipe, it only accepts the R button. And I'll back up a little bit. Okay, here we go. And then you just get it close enough, and you got to drop your bucket fairly close to the pipe. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's try it again. If you notice on the screen, you look down, you'll see a little green dot, a green circle on the ground. That green circle will indicate where you're going to drop things. All right, now, you see how the water's in the bucket? Don't move the bucket, leave it where it is. Now you currently have a source of water, no matter how many times you dig, shovel dirt, and brush, okay? For my own sanity, I'm gonna disconnect this because it is a very, very annoying sound. Okay, so that is the fastest way to do that. So yeah, once you manually do things, get about 56 coins, go ahead and buy your intake valve and one straight pipe, and now you're only down to the brush and the shovel. So we covered that particular part. The next thing I want to show you is when you're running back and forth to the store, a lot of you guys are going up the hill over here in the background, either by foot or truck. Most of you are going by foot if you haven't learned how to use the truck. Look, there is a simpler way to do this. Hop in the river, and what this will do is cut your trip in half, okay? And you'll see in just a minute. You just bear with me while we make the little trip here. It's not too much farther. Now make notice of that interesting stack of rocks. That'll be your cue to when you're getting back. There's that bridge you normally cross over, and then you keep going all the way across the map to get to your to the main store. Now, doing it this way, if you see in the background, there's your store. So you don't have to go all the way around if you're on foot. What you're looking for is the dock here. So you'll see a large dock, and to the right of it is the ramp, or a place you can just walk up. All right, so you see the dragon skull. There's the dragon's bones. Walk in the store. Few things to noticeably mention. This is where you're going to pay to check your items out. Drop everything here that you want to purchase. And here's your ram drill for $3.85. Your harvester for $3.80. Well, I think it's $3.85 or $5.83. Here's another intake valve, and the main things you're going to be looking for your little build on the back that you don't have at the other store is going to be your pressure pump right here. And then this is kind of hidden, but you have your filters. 4 filters, 4 pressure pumps, and the rest of those pipes you can buy basically over there. And your ram drill and your harvester. Once you have that, you get one set up, let it build out the gold, and then you set up your second one, and then between those two, that will speed you along so you can get off that small piece of land. And let me show you something real quick. Not too far in the background over there is the biggest piece of land that they offer, okay? And you notice how wide this driveway is? It's just as wide no matter how far down you go. And so it's a lot easier to drive. Look, 40% of this game is driving the truck. And though it's irritating at first, I promise within a few hours of gameplay, you're going to learn how to drive that backwards and forwards. You just got to get used to it, okay? So don't let that make you give up on the game. All right, let's head on back over there so we can take a look at my build real quick. You know, and as I was mentioning, you know, a lot of you guys are trying to buy all, you know, so some videos suggest, oh, you know, dig deep and all this other stuff. Well, all that requires even more gold to buy more stuff, and you're stuck on that land. Now, look, you have to load, when you're done with that piece of land and you're getting ready to move, you've got to undo all that, load it all up, several truckloads across the map. That's why I'm saying do the very bare minimum that you need to get yourself to the biggest piece of land. You're talking about maybe 4 hours of work. So why people are building all these elaborate, you know, mining rigs back here in a small piece of property is beyond me, especially when you're so far from everything. And so, yeah, you're just cutting under the bridge to shorten your trips here. Now let's get a good view of this. One of your best buys in the beginning, once you get your rig set up, is you'll notice that the game turns from night to day all the time, and it seems like it's about every 15 minutes. It's very annoying. It's hard to see at night. Buy a couple of these cheap lamps at the little store over there, and then you just left click them and they turn on. Let me tell you, it'll save you so much aggravation. Um, Trying to click on those beds, so you have a bed that'll reset the clock, but the problem is it takes forever to do that. So for me, the lamps are a good investment. Okay, so the things you need, now obviously at the end, you should have the intake valve we were using over there when I was showing you the panning. Once you have that, couple of pipes here, just 4 of them, and then let's go on around so we can get a good look. Start with your 4 filters. Trust me, you want this. It's going to cut down on your repairs, okay? Then you have these guys, which are pressure pumps. Look, don't waste your time dropping in little crystals. It's not going to do that much for you in the beginning. And to be frank with you, you're going to produce just about enough gold anyways without those crystals in there. The crystals only make a big difference when you smelt about 5 to 10 of them together and make a bar, okay? So you can just leave them empty and continue to mine normally. These blue bags contain 5 spanners, which are just 5 tools. Each time that you use this bag on one of these things that is sparking and is broken, it takes up 1 tool. You only get 5 tools in a bag, all right? And you can buy that at the main store, and I should have shown you that, but I forgot. Now you see the build here from the back end, and so it's very simple. Look guys, you don't need to have these drilling rigs on the ground. They only require dirt under. Now, this is the amateur way to do it. So you're shoveling in dirt all the way to the bottom here, because you need to be able to have the ram drill above to shoot the dirt out into the harvester. And the reason for the boxes is this guy shoots a dirt ball, it bounces off the box and then goes into the harvester. If you don't have the box there, it goes everywhere. The same philosophy works for the harvester. When it shoots out your gems and minerals and everything else, if you don't have something there for the material to bounce off of, it's just not going to perfectly go in the bucket. There's a certain level of randomness, but these boxes definitely help with that situation. So the professional way to set up these rigs without putting a huge pile of dirt like that, if we come over here and take a look, just buy you a cheap crate, I think it's 5 gold coins, set it down, hop on top of it, put 2 shovel loads right in the middle of it. Just 2 shovel loads and you're good to go. It's hard to see that there's only 2 shovel loads under that one, but that's what it is. Now let's just see this guy function real quick. So I'll set it up so you can see how that'll actually work out for you. And if you remember, you have to hold down your left mouse key, and then you have to move around sometimes, and then R, T, and Y to rotate your pipes. And then, why is this not turning on? Sometimes the game's a little glitchy, so you have to get it just right. There we go. See when it sparks like that? That means you're going to come over here. You press E to pick up your bag, and then you left click to make your repair. And the bag disappears once you use all 5. Now there's 2 of these broken, but we're not going to go through all that right now. Now the next thing you want to make sure is every time you log out, it automatically turns off your drills. You got to flip the switch. If you don't flip your switch, you're not going to get anything out of it. Okay, so that's every time you log in, you got to do that. See how the dirt just shoots right in the harvester, and then we'll get a good look of the gems shooting to the side. And it takes a minute. There you go. So most of it does go in there. Now, quick tip, if you open up one of these pressure pumps, it also turns the system off. I often do that. It's just a quick way of doing things. One other thing you're going to notice is your tools, okay? And I'll go over the tools in the next video because some of those tools are important and you guys are not using them. But sometimes tools disappear, especially when you leave them on the open ground. And what happens is they're not disappearing. It glitches and will drop it to the bottom of the map. And you may not find it until later. 50 hours into the game, you're digging a hole, and all of a sudden, wow, there's a tool I lost. So get ready for that to happen. So yeah, you want to stick with a very simple build. Now, once you're done with all this, you've got all your money, you bought your land, and you bought enough to set up your complete rig on the other side. Always leave this here. Don't undo all this. Why? Because say you get over there and you think that you have all the parts that you're going to need for it, but you don't, then you're stuck without having a way to get more gold without doing it manually again. So just leave this here. All right, so we're going to shoot up the hill real quick so you can just see what's here locally. This is your store. Quick tip about this. Money also will fall through the map. So I tend to leave my money always in the buckets, okay? And I've had money disappear before. It's just how it is with this game, at least for now. So the quick tip about this is sometimes you leave money in here and you're trying to check out and you click the button and it doesn't work. What it means is it's a little glitchy. You have to take the money out, drop it on the ground, and put it back in, okay? That's all it means. And then we're going to roll up the hill and then take a look at where you can sell everything. If I can get out of here. So yeah, just save your crafting and all that other stuff that you're going to do until you get to your big map, because that's a lot of stuff to have to buy, and digging deep requires a lot of excavators and stuff like that. So you just drop your bucket or tools up here, and like I tell you, use the pans, not the little tiny buckets. Another thing is some people suggest you get the basic shovel, you could buy an advanced shovel, but you really don't need that starting. The goal is to do the very, very minimum to get out of here. Other than that, take you back down here. This is how you're going to get to the bridge to get to the other side. And then with that, we're going to close it out. And then in the next video, I'm going to go over all the tools on a different piece of land, okay? But I just wanted you to see where you need to go. So you just follow the road all the way up. And you remember that bridge. So when you're driving, you're forced to go all the way around the map to get to your store. You don't need to do that. And remember your shortcut. Look, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I know that's not a great deal of information, but some of those tips are actually pretty useful. So, all right, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.